Oh boy. Okay.
You're muted, Chip. You're mute. There you go. Nope, you muted yourself
Self.
again.
I'm not touching it.
Okay.
Now it's unmuted. Well, another technical difficulty. Welcome to the world of live YouTube television. It's Wednesday in the Riv. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
As our Wednesday begins, we've, as usual, got a lot to talk about. It seems that the primaries are getting close. The Rhode Island primary finished. I don't know if you were watching the results, but that guy that worked for Biden and Obama got a Abo, I believe his name.
AMO.
I thought it was ABO, whatever.
No, AMO.
He won, and so the Republicans are non-entities there, and our primary is coming close, and we've got some things to talk about that. But I hope things heat up when now that we're getting close and after the primary, because it doesn't seem that anybody wants to put forth their positions on anything to any degree to the general public. So over to you, CJ.
Well, it's interesting that you should mention that because I've got here the OCPF reports showing how much money these candidates have. And interestingly enough, the only one who has a lot of money is Paul. But let's look at some of this. As of Tuesday, the August reports were due to be submitted on September 1st before the deadline. Many candidates did submit it well before the deadline. As in his preliminary bid in 2021, Vandell raised no money and shows a zero balance. Mayor Paul Coogan, as of August 21st, had $64,373 in his campaign bank account. And the OCPF website shows he had a modest amount of fundraising in August of $1,860. Sutter, who served 1 year as mayor in 2015 after a recall election, trails Coogan significantly in campaign funds. His finance report shows that he had $9,746 in his campaign account as of August 2nd, the most recent report available. It's very interesting to see that. It doesn't take a lot of money to win an election, but it doesn't hurt. According to OCPF's report, they flagged Sam Sutter for a repayment of a loan that goes back to his days as a DA of $3,489, that repayment to himself from a previous candidate loan, but that exceeded the $3,150 that he was owed. The $3,150 loan liability was reported in his end-of-year report going back to 2013. As of Tuesday, the mistake was not corrected, but the campaign did respond to OCPF's inquiry as to the expense made to the Clipper restaurant in July, asking for the purpose, and that showed that it was a lunch for his campaign supporters. Nice to know. The city council incumbents, President Joe Camara, filed his August report. He has $1,630. City Council Vice President Linda Pereira has $3,958, and Councilor Pamela Liberté LeBeau ended July with $953 in her account. City Councilor Laura Washington had $2,183 in her account as of Tuesday, and Councilors Brad Kilby and Michelle Dion showed campaign account balances of $132 respectively as of Tuesday. City Councilor Sean Kadim reported Tuesday his campaign had a total of $181 for a previous month, July. Kadim reported that his campaign had minus $148 in his account and had paid $105 in overdraft fees. In August, OCPF notified Kadim that his bank had closed his campaign account and that action was needed. As of Tuesday, this was not yet resolved. City council candidate taking another shot at the seat is former council president Cliff Ponte, who was unsuccessful for his mayoral bid, and he has $2,600 in his account. He reports that he shows that in January he loaned the campaign $46,000 for outstanding liabilities. In February, he paid local printer Express Printing $44,693 for outstanding bills dating back to 2021 when he was running for mayor. Abiding by the rules for most new candidates can be a confusing process, and OCPF help guides them. Candidate Joe Salvador ended August with a balance of $189. Joshua Texera ended the balance with $10 and resolved the problem that OCPF had with his spending campaign funds before setting up a bank account. He filed a July report that indicated he loaned himself money and paid out a pocket for $800 worth of signs. Candidate Bob Pearson, who had served on the school committee, raised $2,059, including a $1,000 candidate loan in August, and Gloria Sadler ended August with $140. OCPF indicates she loaned her campaign $360. Former city councilor and current school committee member Paul Hart ended August with $2,119. Paulo Amaral showed his August report with $1,008. Alexander Silva had $100 in his August account. Ricky Teets had $25. And Gabriel Boomer Amaral ended his account with $20. So, OCPF shows a form submitted by Jordan James Sylvia indicating that he does not intend to raise or expend any campaign funds. So that shows you where we stand right now with these candidates and their bank accounts. So it should be interesting to see what happens. What do you think?
Well, well over 12 years ago when we started this show, we said one simple thing: follow the money. And, I know people are going to go, geez, look at all these numbers and things. But you got to look at these things like we do to see who's giving to who, how many family we see who's connected to who, and how these people are getting so much in campaign contributions from people who really don't live in Fall River or have very little interest in Fall River except making a profit. Who got a job and is giving money. All these factors. We know that obviously Coogan's going to get donations from all these developers and people. And he has all his rich banker, lawyer, and rich friends. And some of these people, you look at the campaign contributions, you can basically track who their support base is. And it's not the regular people of Fall River. The regular people of Fall River are trying to live paycheck to paycheck. As we well know, 61% of the people in the country are living paycheck to paycheck. Places like Fall River, it's probably closer to 80 to 90% of the people in Fall River are living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have time and they don't have money. They're not going to go to Political Times and look for jobs. They're trying to work their jobs and make a living. It always gets down to follow the money, because you can see where their loyalties lie. Do their loyalties lie to the rich, the developers? It's a pretty good standard to look at. We've seen it happen before. We've seen people. Well, I remember we go back to Eddie Lambert running against George Jacome that first election. Where Jacome almost beat him had he not clarified his degree status. He came very close. And Eddie Lambert spent $400,000. That's right. $400,000 on that election. He had a 6 or 8 course dinner served the night before the election, and he hired buses to bring nearly 2,000 seniors to the dinner. And then on election day, they hosted a breakfast at the Venus for another 1,500 or so seniors. And he barely won. But you see, money, like you said, CJ, it's not necessary to win because we didn't have two nickels to rub together when we ran the recall. But we managed to get the people out, the regular people. And that's the key to this election. Moral of that story is if the regular people come out to vote, it's going to be a very interesting election because if we leave it in the hands, as I said before, of the connected, of the people who are benefiting from this mayor who's done nothing, then we're going to see a repetition. He may get in again. And if he gets in again, he'll still have no plan. He'll still do absolutely nothing. And I'll segue into it and let you start this little leg of this, what we're talking about. It is alleged that he said he is not going to debate at all, although this morning I got someone that said that's not, he's saying now that he may debate after the primary. So, but why doesn't he want to debate? If I was a mayor and I had a great record, I would love to debate. I would love to go out there and show everybody what I've done, how I cut crime, how I raised the attainment levels in our schools, how I cleaned up all the patronage. Oh, wait a minute. He didn't do any of that. Wait, that's probably why he doesn't want to debate, because he's got nothing. He's got nothing except promises. The check's in the mail. When the train comes, we will turn into Newton. Tinkerbell will fly over the Duval corridor and sprinkle it with fairy dust, and the city will turn into Newton, not Detroit. And this is problematic because before we talk about why he should debate, it's a disservice to the people of Fall River. You're going to pull a Joe Biden? Well, we know why Joe Biden doesn't want to debate. He can't put a sentence together. He was actually sitting in the room, and I saw the video yesterday, actually, of the representative from Israel, their prime minister. He looked extremely uncomfortable sitting in a chair and having the president of the United States sitting across from him about 4 feet away, facing him and not looking at him once, looking at flashcards and mumbling. Why? Because he's got nothing. Neither does Coogan. So it's a disservice to the people of Fall River. Tell us what you've done and what you plan on doing, not what you hope is going to happen, what you're going to make happen as the leader of Fall River. Because so far in 4 years, I have not seen a plan for anything that really affects the quality of life for the people of Fall River. And after that rant, CJ, let's see what you got to say.
Well, it's very interesting because I had a conversation with a member of Sam Sutter's campaign team, and I said exactly what you just said. Tell the people what you're going to do. Tell the people how you're going to do it. Let the people know. Running on your resume isn't going to cut it for the people of Fall River. They know your resume. They know what you're going to do. They want to hear what you plan to do. And we just got a message from Fall River Experience. How about talk about the actual wrongdoings instead of who is the better campaigner? How about call out your boy Sutter for misappropriation of campaign funds? There's no statement anywhere that he misappropriated campaign funds. This is again a Cooganite trying to decimate an opponent. Okay, we know that the Fall River Experience, Aaron All-Nighter, is all up the mayor's ass, and he's going to remain up the mayor's ass. And that's a wonderful thing for him. And I'm very happy. You have the right to say what you want, and we'll never say you don't. And we'll always put your comments out there. Had you done them on Facebook, I could actually put them on the screen. But, this is what people are saying. Here's Jeffrey Kudrow. Paul is a coward. He's scared. He's a scared cat because he knows that the people will get to those debates and will boo at him. Oh, well, that's probably true. You didn't even want to have a debate with Cliff at all. Only one debate in the 2 years, and that was 2 years ago. I mean, this is what happens. The people of Fall River want debates. The people of Fall River want to hear from the candidates. They want to know what you're going to do. Here was Paul's statements of everything he's done. Okay? It was a joke. An absolute joke. It didn't cut it at all. Okay? It's all platitudes. And the people want more than platitudes. And that's the truth. Oh,
Okay.
And now the Fall River Experience is saying that he can't stand Coogan. But meanwhile, you're not jumping on Coogan. You're only jumping on Sam Sutter. And Sam Sutter's not our boy. Coogan's not our boy. We call them out the way we see them. And that's it. And I know that there are robocalls going out right now. And I spoke about those robocalls to a member of Sam's campaign and told them exactly what I thought about them. And they asked, how can we change them? And I said, stop running on your resume and start running on what he plans to do. The people want to know. They're paying high taxes, high fees, high water bills, and Paul's not giving them any breaks, although he's touting that he's using ARPA funds to give them breaks, which is bull. So tell the people what they need to hear. Tell the people what you plan to do, and then do it.
Well, the amoeba, I guess, with his head so far up Coogan's ass that he doesn't pay attention, or he can't understand. Maybe he's got to put a hearing aid in, but he still may not fit up his anal channel with the hearing aids in. I don't know, depending on the size of them. Listen, we've been calling out people for 12 years. If you go back and look at a Flint Association meeting when Sam Sutter was mayor, you'd see him and I going toe to toe about what he was doing with the economy that I disagreed with. But call out wrongdoings. We've been calling out Paul Coogan's wrongdoings for 4 years. And I'll list a few of them that Sam Sutter or anybody else I ever known as a mayor has not done. Paul Coogan violated the state statute by giving his chief of staff and all his political appointed people a pay raise that the city council denied. And the reality is the statute clearly states that the city council has to approve pay raises. The mayor can't give them out. He proposes they dispose. They said no, and he gave them the pay raise in spite of the fact. Violated the law. Clearly violated the law. And every single pay raise since then is illegal, because every time he gives a pay raise compounded on a base that shouldn't be the base because it was an illegal increase, he's violating the law. Just as picking up private trash. In spite of a city ordinance prohibiting it for 4 years. In spite of the fact that, again, the spineless city council, except Michelle Dion, told him to stop. They filed a resolution. And he's still doing it. I have never seen a mayor ignore the law with total disregard the way Paul Coogan does. So you want some more wrongdoings? How about the ARPA money? Let's have an audit on the ARPA money. Listen, you want to be a political kiss ass, go ahead. You have every right to be. But don't try to get into an actual debate and try to imply that we don't call them like we see them, because we do. We call them the way we see them. And when Sam was mayor, we called him out on. We basically said, you institute that $10 fee, you're not going to get elected. And he didn't. Even though that $10 fee, he didn't explain it well enough, was a choice between getting rid of public safety. When Paul Coogan, if he gets another term, he's going to look for a 2.5 override to pay for public safety. He's not going to implement anything. He's going to look for an override to croak the taxpayers again, because he's the override mayor, the exclusion mayor. You want to call out wrongdoing? Show me one mayor who violated the statute on pay raises. Show me one mayor who gave somebody a pay raise without the approval of the city council. Show me a mayor who violated a city ordinance about trash, except Paul Coogan. Look, you're a political hack and you're going to try to spin, but you know, you're spinning on a guy. Your idol has feet of clay. So let's not say calling out. You don't call out anybody. You don't call out anybody. All you do, you're a spin doctor. That's all you are. You're a spin doctor. When we present stats and numbers, we're not spinning anything. I showed you on a last show this paper, but how much in a fiscal year by fiscal year, and I showed you the thing from Gallagher, the actual printout, asking where the $17,565,755 went. Crickets from the mayor, crickets from the council, except for Michelle. We're not spinning anything. And if it's our opinion, we'll tell you. And in our opinion, Paul has been the worst mayor in the history of the city. And with that, CJ, I'll turn it back over to you.
There's no question about it. We know exactly where you stand now. Not like we didn't know before. And boy, has the comments gone crazy. You just read that Sutter spent campaign funds at the Clipper that was questionable and not fixed. It was fixed. It said in the report that it was to pay for a lunch for his campaign supporters. Coogan raised more money. Big deal. That's campaigning. But you call out Coogan's wrongdoings, not Sutter. Don't devil horn patches. Okay. Okay, yeah. Coogan has done wrong. So has Sutter, stupid. Where has Sutter done anything wrong? He is not the mayor. He is not the mayor. And people keep jumping on this period of time when he was the DA. He was one of the most successful DAs that this county ever had. And he did everything by the book, including handing off prosecution to somebody else. I'm not defending him. I don't mean to be defending him, but put things where they are. The one thing Sam did wrong when he was mayor, and I still say it to this day, and Chip has agreed with me, that $10 fee. He said that it was to prevent layoffs of public safety personnel, which is wonderful. But you didn't explain that to the people. The people didn't get that message. You didn't explain it well enough. Had you explained it well enough, maybe you would have gotten another term as mayor. But it wasn't explained to them enough. All they thought about was the purple bags and then a $10 fee. You can't have that. The people need to be explained. And accordingly, Sam met with the neighborhood associations. And he explained this fee to the neighborhood associations. But the one thing that Sam didn't realize was the neighborhood associations are usually just mouthpieces for the administration. Now, maybe with Sam they weren't, but with Flanagan they were. And they said and did everything Flanagan wanted. There wasn't a lot of resistance from the neighborhood associations. And currently, we have one of the weakest group of neighborhood associations in the city that this city's ever seen. So you can't base your decisions based upon what the neighborhood associations say. You have to do a wider range of review. You have to take this back to the people. You know, the retirees who can barely afford to pay for their medications or buy food. Okay? The people living on fixed incomes. You got to take this to them before you decide to roll out a $10 fee. And that was the mistake he made. And he acknowledges that it was a mistake. As a matter of fact, he acknowledges that he was listening to the wrong people. And that happens to a lot of people. Sometimes you're just not listening to the right people. And that's always a sad situation. But I would love to have specifics of what Sutter's, what he's done. So.
Okay. Yeah, look, don't you're not, we're not going to engage this amoeba, because listen, what we just told you were violations of a law, a clear violation of a law in a city ordinance, state statute, and we had the statutes. We read it on the show. We've got the copy of the resolution. We know what the city ordinance says. Those are clear. They're not subjective. They're not our opinion. They're violations of the law. Everything you talk about, Sutter, it's about you disagreed with the prosecution. Well, did he illegally do something? Was he censured by the Board of Bar Overseers? Did he do something illegal? Because if he did, he would have been held accountable. Has he been? You know, there are lawyers who have had censures. We actually had a legal counsel that was censured by the Board of Bar Overseers. You remember John Frank, don't you?
Yep.
He actually had a censure in his jacket as an attorney that he was censured for doing something illegal as a lawyer. Show me something that's not an opinion. You don't like the fact that the verdict didn't come out right, or you didn't like the way that he prosecuted the case. That's irrelevant. Tough shit. I didn't like the verdict in the OJ case, but I'm not going to claim that they did something illegal. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. So he got acquitted, but then he got found guilty in a civil case. I don't want you to point out things that's your opinion. Show me where Sam Sutter violated the law. Did he adhere to the campaign finance regulations? No. But everybody knows, unlike you, that people have a lot of difficulty with campaign finance, and when they're contacted by the OCPF, they're always given a way how to resolve the issue. And had he not resolved the issue, then you'd have a complaint. But that's just campaign finances, by the way, which most people don't handle themselves. They have somebody in charge of their campaign finance. And CJ is very, very good at this stuff. He's been, he really dives into it. He knows all the rules. But there are a lot of people who run campaigns, especially people who are not career politicians, who get career people to run their campaign, and even they have issues. This is all bullshit that you're throwing because you don't like the fact that your guy is the only person you can point a finger directly at and say, you violated a law and I can show you the law. You violated city ordinance and I can show you the city ordinance. Don't tell me you disliked the way he did something, because that is not, it's inane. So look that up in a dictionary. I'm not going to explain it to you, but it's inane. That's an inane statement. So the reality is that we don't want to hear this crap because we're going to deal with, Paul's performance because he is the sitting mayor. So he's the guy that's got to be in the spotlight, dum-dum. Not Sutter. Sutter wants to be mayor. And as CJ said, this is why Sutter has a record. But that's only an add-on to say, well, I can't help. I will reduce crime, and I have done it in the past. So you can trust probably me more to do it because I've done it before. But run on what you're going to do. Show your plan. That Paul's never had a plan for anything. He's the candidate. He's the candidate. Do you look at some debates? Why did they jump over Vivek Ramaswamy? Because he's starting to raise in the polls. They go after the head guy. They're going after Trump. They go after the mayor. He's, of course, the focal point of the campaign. You want to do something constructive? Follow the money and follow the nomination papers. You know what I'd really like to see, CJ, and I'm going to leave it with this because we're getting, Vandal, zero money. I believe you said.
Correct.
I'd like to see all the signatures on his nomination papers and match them with signatures on the Paul Coogan nomination papers. I'm a betting man. I'll bet the amoeba, a coffee, and a donut at Dunkin' Donuts that most of those signatures on his nomination papers match Paul Coogan's. All he is a plant to have a primary for them to gauge how their campaign's doing. And we all know that. The guy doesn't campaign. I've never seen a sign. He doesn't raise money. And this is the second consecutive year. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. So if you want to look something up, look that up. I mean, I'm not going to because it's irrelevant, just like his candidacy is, because it's up to Sam Sutter to present his case to the city. But it's up to Paul Coogan as the sitting mayor not to present his case, but to defend his record. That's why he should debate. Back to you, CJ.
Well, you have to love what Jeff is saying there. Hasn't had a sign holding in months. Seen very little. Very quiet election season. Yeah, you're right, Jeff. I mean, it's been quiet all the way around. City council, school committee, and mayor. So we don't know. Well, I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Friday. Have a great day.